37 years old now, and he was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and global development delay when he was just a child. I was just a child. Okay, that's me. And so he did not make that his bus stop. He refused to make that his reality. He pushed and pushed and pushed, and now he's the youngest black professor at the University of Cambridge. He's teaching the sociology of education. So that's optimistic news there, right? And so that's about Jason. That's about Cash. That's about the new short codes that we mentioned earlier on. So in other news, this one is not so good news. I did promise that I was going to start off with positive stories, good stories, right? So I'm going to cushion that. Okay, how do you cushion something bad? Okay, this is some not so good news at all. A few weeks ago, precisely over a month ago actually, the 6th of February, we woke up to the sad news that Turkey was engulfed in an earthquake. Very sad one. An earthquake that ended up taking the lives of 48,000 people. Let me read that again. Not 48, not 480, not 4,800, but 48,000 people lost their lives in Turkey alone, right? During the week, I think yesterday I mentioned that there was another earthquake there. But right now, 200,000 people are dead in Malawi from a similar situation, right? Authorities of Malawi confirmed that, 200 people, not 200,000, I beg your pardon, 200 people, that at least 190 people were confirmed as of yesterday, and again, the numbers are still counting. It's sad because Malawi, a few months ago, had the highest, they were fighting a cholera outbreak, the worst in that country's history. So imagine a flooding system. I mean, I'd read it somewhere in the news that Malawi has seen so much rainfall, much more rainfall in this in just a few weeks than, the rainfall is higher than, there's a way that they put it, how you said you've seen more rain than the entire year in a few weeks. You know how rain in Nigeria here now, it starts raining from March. You go to June, March, April, May. You take a break in June, July. The rains come back in August, September, and October. So imagine in 1 month you see more rainfall than you have ever experienced in your lifetime. So imagine, how devastating that would be. Sometimes when we think about the problem of Nigeria, that Nigeria has it all. We have great weather. We have great, what's that word now? Great, we have great people. We don't experience any natural disasters, right? We're just right on the tropics. We're chilling, and somehow we haven't harnessed all the good things that we have, about us. We have not harnessed it to progress and be one of the best countries in the world. Some countries have it really, really, really bad, way bad than us. And so there's serious flooding there right now. Nigeria, the climate is already warning us that the rains are coming. The rains are coming. Malawi has had to declare a state of disaster, right? We here were saying rains are coming this year. If you are in flood-prone area, please, state governors, this is what you're supposed to do. If you are in we should have. The NIMET has started warning everybody to adjust and align. I mean, we don't want that kind of what they call it. We don't want that kind of scenario to hit us. To catch us unawares. That's the word, to catch us unawares. So that's the not so good news that I had. Just to share. I'm sure you've seen this in the news, but it's not trending as much as it's as much as the one that happened in Turkey trended last month. I mean, it was very sad. There's no one that didn't feel bad about what has happened in Turkey. It's very bad right now in Malawi. It's very bad. Storm Freddy, that's what it's called. I'd asked the question one time that why do they name hurricanes across the world? I haven't been able to find an answer to that. At least 200 people have been confirmed dead in Malawi right now after tropical storm Freddy rips through the southern, I think Mozambique, it touched Mozambique as well, and some other parts of the southern African country. I often say this, there's a place that I want to visit. When I talk about my bucket list, I think of Namibia. Namibia is a southern African country as well. It's called the land of the brave. I love that country. Someone I follow on social media posted recently that she's in Namibia. Oh God, I envied her so much. I was green with envy, right? Yeah, so it was Namibia that I mentioned earlier on. They said they've seen Mozambique, I beg your pardon, has received more than a year's worth of rainfall in 4 weeks. Imagine the entire rainfall that will fall in Nigeria from March till October, right? They've seen it in 4 weeks. Mozambique, 53 people have died. Malawi, 200 people have died in Malawi. Blantyre has recorded most of the deaths. That's 158 people in Blantyre. Blantyre is the capital of Malawi. Dozens of children, and the government has had to declare a state of disaster in 10,000 districts that have been hardest hit by the storm. Rescue workers are overwhelmed, and they're using shovels to try to find survivors buried in the mud. So very sad news there. So that's I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to move on. If you didn't hear about that now, so Nigeria, please take note for this. NIMET is already announcing. In fact, NIMET has been announcing since January that the floods are coming. So don't let it catch us unawares, right? So Doctors Without Borders said that more than 40 children were pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital in Malawi. I'm going to let that go right now about the flooding in Malawi, Mozambique, and other southern African countries. I have another story. I think you probably heard this news. I'm sure you definitely heard this news because of course Nigeria has a high population of Catholics. You heard that on Tuesday Pope Francis celebrated the 10th anniversary of his election. It was actually on Monday and he, the fact that he took over from what they call it, Pope Benedict XVI, who passed on, this year as well, that he was the first Pope who resigned. He stepped down, right? And history's first Latin American Pope has spent 10 years already as the head of the Catholic Church. It was, it made headlines. It was a big deal for some people. So some people, it was just another news thing. But I just think it's been 10 years, and it was worth mentioning in case you were not aware that it's been 10 years since this new Pope ascended. He was elected the 266th Pope on the ballot at the time, and he's made quite a number of people uncomfortable with his new policies that he has brought to the fore. Okay, so I have a call coming through. Hello, good afternoon.
Okay, Patrick.
Okay, Patrick. Okay, please go on.
You were talking about the flood happening in southern
Africa. Yes, in southern Africa.
Yeah, our hearts to them all.
Yeah.
I just pray that this kind of natural disaster stop happening, but we don't know how we can stop nature from doing all these things.
Nature will take its course. That's what we like to say, right? Nature will take its course, especially water. Water will always find its level. So it's we human beings that will adjust our livelihoods.
Yeah.
Everybody's shouting climate change, climate change. The only thing we complain about here in Nigeria is we keep saying the sun, the sun, the sun. We have no idea that a lot of the things we are doing actually has adverse effects. So why in this part of the world we might get it hotter? In some places, the rains come heavier on them and it's incontrollable. Right, and then look at Israel that does not even get as much rainfall all through the year. Israel does not have all the rainfall that we're enjoying here, and yet they maximize it to build their own country. But don't let me just put words in your mouth. Go right ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, there was this program being held in your city.
A program?
Yes, the environment can be.
Okay.
And the uncle no longer come. So there was this day I called him and I asked him, all these political party candidates who want to govern Nigeria as president, I asked them, what is their plan? Since everybody talking about climate change. I'm not hearing anything from any of the candidates concerning that.
No, nobody has a green energy plan.
That was what I asked him.
Yeah.
So the answer he gave me that there was just a concern where I was need to have concern. So we just leave it like this. The reason why I called it, NIMET have given warning that there will be flood.
NIMET? Yes.
And you are wondering what we are doing. Should I bust your bubble?
Oh, yeah, no.
We are not doing anything.
As usual, every year we do the same thing. Yeah.
We are waiting. When it happens, we now started giving excuses. We now start explaining our lack of actions.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be so. And then this will bring us to leaders from the states and local government channels.
Yeah.
To the states.
Yes.
To the federal.
Exactly.
The House of Representative members, the senators.
Yeah.
What is their priority when it comes to the people? And the people, their priority.
Yeah.
It's all about politics. What we see, it's all about politics.
It's exactly. We politicize everything. Forget that it is actually human beings we are dealing with.
If it happened, God forbid, if it happened now,
and
people die, it was also people don't read out the figures of people that died.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we move on. Sometimes I'm amazed the way we move on when people die.
Quickly. We move on too quickly. We have seen too much.
I'm amazed. So I don't know who will help us. But
we'll help ourselves.
That's what I want to say. I believe that Nigeria will get better.
Amen.
Whether we like it or not.
And in our time too, we will not be old and wrinkly.
It will get better.
Yes.
It will get better.
Yes.
And then the state governors and the federal government, the local government, they should look for ways. Since NIMEX has already given us warning.
Early warning, yes.
Yes, ways to prevent this flood from happening. Because even up to today, if you go to Bayelsa State, because Bayelsa State was one of the most heated states.
Yes.
If you go there, you see many Nigerians are still suffering. Some they don't even have a place to lay their head.
No.
And if you go and ask those people now, since the intervention that if they have gotten any intervention, they will tell you no.
No.
And they have lost their property. They have lost their place.
And they were not compensated. Life moves on.
Even though the compensation comes,
yeah.
There was this time. I cannot remember when that flood happened in
Kaduna. Oh, okay. No, go on in South.
So one of my friends, she said the people that got the government grant,
yes,
that it is 200 naira they gave them.
200 naira.
200 naira.
Not 200,000.
I said 200 naira.
Oh dear.
It was 200 naira that got to them. And I asked her that the people collect. She said they collected that. It is well with Nigeria.
We're not ready yet. If we're collecting exactly,
we will get it right. Whether we like it or not,
we will.
Yeah, we will get it right.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Thank you so much for your contribution. So I've said it. Patrick has, what's that word? He has highlighted it as well. The floods are coming. What are we doing about it? Just to highlight, what has happened in Malawi, Mozambique, and other South African countries. Okay, so because I dwelt so much on that story, let me just quickly run down to the rest of what we had. Okay, I said the Pope celebrated his 10th anniversary. So I know, is in the Altus, let me not speak the Latin, but I pray his reign is an excellent one. Amen. So well done, Pope Francis. Then FIFA, yeah. I have two more stories and I'll call it a wrap. Okay, before I take FIFA story, did you know that Nigeria has returned to the United Nations peacekeeping mission? Okay, so the Nigerian Armed Forces has returned to the United Nations peacekeeping mission after years of absence. Did you even know when we left? Abi, because of the crisis in the Northeast, insurgency here and there in different parts of the country, we forgot that Nigeria used to be celebrated as one of the best, what they call them, fighting forces. Yeah, on the African continent. Do you remember ECOMOG? Do you remember during the tenure of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, how Nigerian soldiers were highly revered for our role in Sierra Leone, what we did in Liberia? Do you remember? Well, see how the times have changed. Did you even know that Nigeria was not part of all these UN peacekeeping missions anymore? And so I read somewhere that the Nigerian-based defense company deployed into the UNIFSA, that is the United Nations Interim Security Force for ABA, to join the rest of the multinational peacekeeping forces, and was inducted 15th of March 2023. That was yesterday, so we're back on track. The induction of the Nigerian UN peacekeepers completes the 8 contingent member troops contributing countries in UNIFSA. Benjamin Olufemi Sawyer, in his speech during the parade to commemorate the 1-year anniversary, stated that despite initial challenges, the force has been able to achieve its mandate. That is by providing protection of civilians, engage with two host governments as well as host communities to encourage dialogue and support humanitarian agencies to assist people and provide support to the two country teams of Juba and Khartoum. You know where Khartoum is? That's in Sudan. Juba is also in Sudan, to implement the programmatic funding activities. So well done, Nigerian Army. We always appreciate the great and magnanimous work that you're doing. Laying down your life to ensure that other people are safe is no small feat. We talked about yesterday where the International Day Against Police Brutality, right? And we talked about how the Nigerian police, that they're not well. We talked about the welfare. We talked about their accommodation issues. We talked about the low remuneration, the small salary that they have been paid, and we expect them to do this big work, right? And so Patrick has reiterated it as well, that Nigeria go better, you know, and so we take it one step at a time to fix things bit by bit by bit. And what's it? My final story? No, not the final. Did you know that 6 years after initially agreeing to overhaul the format for the Men's World Cup, FIFA has scrapped the plan for 3 team groups and approved a new format for 2026? That's around the corner already. We just finished one World Cup in Qatar. I mean, who would have thought, World Cup in the Middle East is coming. World Cup, it has come, it has gone. And FIFA is already talking. FIFA was in Kigali, that's Rwanda, on Tuesday, where they named the new stadium after Abedi Pele. Sorry, not Abedi Pele, the great Pele the Great of Brazil, who passed on. So that stadium was named after him. And so when they were having those talks, they have expanded the next World Cup tournament to include a 48-team bonanza. And this time around, you remember that FIFA had already told us earlier this year that the next World Cup, which is 2026, will be hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico. Yep. And so, football just is boring, Abby. It's not boring. You know that what unites us is bigger than what divides us. Football is a unifier any day, anytime. And so FIFA has confirmed the changes on Tuesday, that what they call it now, that will now have, let me break it down, eight third place teams will qualify for the round of 32. The entire tournament will feature 104 matches, up from 64. This is a big one, right, compared to what we had last year. Qatar World Cup was last year. So 2026 will be in North America, and we look forward to it. So this new format is similar to the previous one, which used to be 24 team tournaments like the Women's World Cup and Men's, which was with the size doubled. So 48 teams will be drawn into 12 groups of 4. They will each play a 3-game round. I don't know this word, round robin. It's a football term. I'm just informing you, right? The top 2 in each group will then advance to the next stage. So congratulations, FIFA. Congratulations to all the football lovers all over the world. And so they're still working and sorting everything out. When FIFA members chose the US, Canada, and Mexico to jointly host the World Cup, this agreement between North American neighbors was for 60 games stateside, 10 each in Canada and Mexico, and 11 in US cities chosen last June, had been operating on the assumption that they each get 5 or 6 games. So, but all of that has changed now. 104 games is not being so, but hey, we're looking forward to the World Cup, right? And so that's that about football. I read somewhere also that Morocco, has put in a bid for 2030. I think Morocco lost out in 2018 to the US. I can't remember what country it is. I'm not such a football fan, but they've piqued my interest lately. Don't ask me about Arsenal or Chelsea or Man U or Liverpool. I know their names. I just I know their names because I have to read them in the news. But I can't sit down for a 90-minute game of football. I have to do. That's why do you think Adekunle Gold is on the show today? It is what it is. I just like that saying. And last but not the least, I have to wrap up on this one. This one is awesome news. Did you know? If you didn't know before, you have 2 days to prepare. Today is Thursday. You actually have 3 days. You have Thursday, you have Friday, you have Saturday to prepare for Sunday, which is ding 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 Mother's Day. Remember 8th of March, that was International Women's Day. 19th of March this year is Mother's Day, well, according to the UK, and we are going everything British, right? So don't mind those people that always borrow American. You like to mix it. Don't mix your waters, so please stay with us, right? So this Sunday, that's the fourth Sunday in Lent, is known as Mothering Sunday. And April follows after that. But if you have not bought anything for your mother, please go and start thinking of all the poems and all the things that you want to, all the messages you want to write and tell your mother. And so, what are you supposed to do on Mother's Day? I don't need to inform you about Mother's Day. For those whose moms have, passed on to the great beyond, remember, you know how they say the memory of the righteous is blessed, right? Remember her for all the great memories that you shared with her. And if there was something, she taught you on that day, just remember her on that day and share with us, about that. So have yourselves an amazing weekend. We're not voting here in Abuja, right? But we'll be in the studios, giving you updates as they go. In the meantime, thanks for staying with us here on Citizen FM. I had a great day today. I hope with these few words of mine, I have absolutely convinced you. Don't mind me, Jerry. It is what it is, right? Let's make it an awesome date next week, Monday, on Perspectives. We'll have a full team on ground by then. Muna and Mina will be here. And we have got an amazing lineup of topics to discuss next week. The elections are over, so we're back to our regular programming. Have yourselves an awesome day. I remain your host, Derry.
Make you get your own too. See, bad times will never last. Hey, let me love my last. Life comes at you so fast. Small time you don't become waiting, you hate you. Okay, they hate their lives and they're lonely. No energy for nobody. When no they happy for me. Okay, you hate your life and you lonely. No energy for nobody. No waste your time, man, I know, say yo. If it go cost my peace, then I go take my leave. If it no be money, do not disturb me, please. If it go cost my peace, that's some expensive shit, oh. If it no be money, do not disturb me, please. Man, is hold on. It is what it is, yeah. My will be live.
93.7 Citizen FM.